Here.
Here.
You all will join in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Now we'll have a moment of reflection. Alrighty. Now let's see, first on the agenda, I have no internet, so Mr. Pearl, can you let me know what's.
Comments from the audience.
Thank you, sir. Alright. Thank you. Alright, first, do we have anyone in the audience that signed up for comments? Alright, very good. Next is the minutes of June 25, 25th regular meeting and June 9th special meeting. And that's wonderful when it's working. We have an opportunity to review the minutes from the last two meetings.
Ma'am.
Questions, concerns, corrections?
No, ma'am.
Right, I need a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved.
The move in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Next on the agenda is our treasury report. Unable to be with us tonight due to a I believe we've all had an opportunity to speak with him, which she very good. Any questions regarding the bank reconciliation statement or the invoices?
No.
All right, I need a motion to approve the bank reconciliation statement, audit as well as for the invoices.
Second.
It's been moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
The other items on the, under the treasurer's report is the administrative expenses. There's no action items needed on these items. It's simply here for the board's review. For example, the administrative expense report for June, there were no expense reimbursements, so that has a zero balance. And then we have the credit card statement that we get monthly that we review. And all those charges are matched with balance sheet, correct? Any questions regarding the monthly year-to-date report?
No, ma'am.
The balance sheets in front of me? Yes. Yes. And all our attachments, I don't know if you all know, but if you go to the district website, you click on the word district and the Newport Board of Education tab, you can click on that. When you click on that, you'll see the board meeting date. When you click on that, there's a link that you could open, and all the attachments are there for you to review. That's really good. Right, okay, moving on to student learning and support services. Mr. Atkins?
Yeah, so I just have a couple updates in my first official meeting, so good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So first July has been a really busy month, started on July the 7th, and we really, as a district leadership team and school leadership teams, we hit the ground running. And one of the things, first thing for district teams and our school teams, so much, I know there's been changes, and there's been a lot of work, so I'm personally and publicly thank everyone here for that. Next, I'd like to provide everyone an update on the work that we've done so far. So we've had a lot of hiring in the month of July so far, so we hired a director of curriculum, so Autumn, you're saying that please. Autumn's our new director of curriculum, and she was our instructional coach at the conference. So we're excited about that, and then the primary school is fully staffed. Intermediate school is fully staffed. In high school, only needs 2 teachers, they need 1 MSP and 1 science teacher. Okay, so hiring is moving right along. When the principals and their admin teams are working really hard. Next, been attending a lot of community events, Newport City Parks and Recreation, primary school event, intermediate school had their popsicles with principals, which are really good. So that was awesome. Shout out to them. Also, we have a lot of construction going on at the high school and Newport Stadium, so I want to give an update on that. So 2 business classrooms at the high school, those are projected to be complete by August the 7th. We have a meeting, I believe, on Tuesday, and they're pretty confident that those are going to be done by August the 7th, and pick up the furniture. The furniture should be done, or should be in by that time. The stadium is projected to be complete by mid to end of September. So the concession stand, the restrooms, that project down there should be mid to end of September. The concession stand. Okay. Next, we also had a district leadership meeting on Monday, July 21st. We did a lot of work around the 5 dysfunctions of a team, did a book study, talked a lot about what it means to be a highly effective team, and really putting collective results above individual results. And we also talked about academic expectations and goals and responsibilities. Last 2 things, we do a district teacher orientation tomorrow from 8 to 11:30, and then a few upcoming events. PD is starting next week, which is hard to believe, so school is right around the corner here. Home visit day is on Friday, August 8th. Ms. Stewart has been working really hard on home visit day, getting that organized. Also, like to thank Pompilios, Newport grads, Joe Bristol, Larry Geiger, for providing lunch free again for the district, which is always nice for them. And then opening day is on the 13th, and then the first day of school on the 14th. So we have a lot going on. This is a lot of update.
So I have a question. The 5 dysfunctions of a team, is that going to be something that you're going to want the entire staff to do?
Probably won't be the entire district. That could be a decision from the principals if they wanted their, let's say, their PLC leads or their teacher leaders to do that, or even their grade level teams to do that. That could be something that they decide that their schools want to do that. I thought it went really well from our district leadership teams and our school leadership teams, like our admin teams, thought it went well. That'd be for them to decide if they want to do that.
Okay.
I have a question. So, you have a stationary place for the teachers to use a home visit. So they be like in certain parts of the city.
Yes, we have talked about this. We've got a couple spots we're going to set up water stations and things.
Yes, so, we're gonna start the day at Newport Intermediate School with a welcome message from Mr. Atkins, myself, and Ms. Kay. So welcome, purpose of home visits, and then safety of home visits. Staff will then be preparing their materials. They will already have their roster, they're already paired up. They'll have time the day before to make contact with families and plan their route. We will actually go out then and do home visits. All staff will then be reporting back to the intermediate school for lunch. So we'll have a return from that with a message, just to take the pulse on any any needs or any issues that teachers are experiencing. They will then go back out again, and then we are going to complete the day at 3 o'clock at the intermediate school. So we're going to start together, eat together, end together. And we'll all be from here. We are going to have locations set up throughout the city. That will mostly be central office staff that are not with teachers doing home visits, but we will have water stations throughout the city.
You know, you have flyers at these stations where parents can get for the new bus schedules and start the school schedule or everything will be back to school.
The start and end times are actually going to be in the home visit bag.
Okay.
The information about the traceable communications using Aptigee, that's on a card in the home visit bag. I'm trying to remember, there's a couple of different notifications that are in there. I have not thought about the bus routes, but if that's something, we can definitely add that, and I'll make note of it. Oh, it sounds like the bus drivers are actually calling as well.
Yes.
So calling the individuals.
Thank you. So, David was asked, and I couldn't answer your question because I know it's for those. Thank you.
What's the date of the one? The 8th?
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is the special education update.
Yep. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Chairperson. So I'm Carrie Johnson, myself. More commonly known as Carrie Newman. This is my 17th year in Newport, special education, and my 24th year overall in special education. 8 years in the classroom prior to Newport. And then I was the educational diagnostician for district-wide for the last 17 years. I want to talk about a few initiatives that we have going on. We are in the process of partnering with ARC of Northern Kentucky, which is a community-based like advocacy programming for students and adults with intellectual disabilities. And we are in the process of getting them or set up a partnership for them to come in and teach pre-employment skills to our students with intellectual disabilities. I am meeting with them in August in Newport. I'll give you some more details then. And then we will continue to work on our office. And we're also going to work on strengthening the mentoring and the coaching within the special education department to reduce turnover and retain our special education.
Is the Oracle program located on Mama Street? That's the one that,
I don't think so.
that's not the one. What is it on Mama Street?
I think it's in Covington, I'm not for sure.
Welcome to your decision.
Thank you.
Thank you for stepping up. Carrie, I do have a question. You know, it seems to me that in our district, we have a very high proportion number of special education students compared to other districts. Could you bring us a report on that as to where the students come from? Are they all coming from our district?
Sure.
And if they all,
Well, like percentages,
I'm sorry.
like a percentage?
Yes, percentage that comes from our district, percentage, that don't, you know, because, our percentages of special education children, far exceed a lot of other cities in our area. We have more children with special education needs than most cities do. Last year, we had a report that said that, Fort Thomas had almost double our student population, but about a third of special education students. So I wonder, is it an environmental factor in our neighborhood, in our city, or most of our students come from the west side of the neighborhood? Is it environmental factors or other factors that might be something that I think we need to look at, because our numbers for special education students far exceed a lot of other districts.
Yeah.
I just want to say congratulations on this, stepping into your new role.
Thank you.
I know. I just don't make it, I apologize. Thank you. But But thank you, Carrie. Welcome to the team. Great report. And I agree. We as a board have a lot of, questions about special ed population. And, we're always getting reports that, there's so many kids that go to our schools and don't live in Newport, things finding open borders policy. So we just want to let the public know that we are watching it, we are asking questions, and we are getting the information. So when we get asked questions, that's how the information gets to the public. So we appreciate that. Also, Ms. Stewart, I know you're not on here, but I'd like to hear about enrollment.
I actually don't have my laptop with me, I can grab it. So what we've been doing is we have a document that is updated daily, and we take the number of teachers in each grade level with the capacity for either the grade level, or it is also dependent on the size of the classroom. So we have two different factors going into that. And then as students withdraw, we'll increase. As students move in and are approved for enrollment, then we will increase that back. The next 2 weeks, we expect to see lots of changes. We normally do in the first 2 weeks, but I can actually go here in a few minutes and print off that. We didn't identify by teacher. We just identified by grade level. So if there are 4 teachers in first grade, the cap size being 24, we would do like first. And for example, the first 3 classrooms we maxed out at 24. That third classroom has 9 kids in it, and that's just off the top of my head, but I remember first grade being that way. So we know what the capacity is for that space. I did update on our non-resident application that there are certain grade level and certain programs that are full. So currently, in full for non-residency. So currently, and you had asked about special education. Currently, we are unable to enroll any additional students with special needs because we have to service the residents of Newport first. So those individuals, we receive a letter. I've had several actually come and meet with me. They were very upset that their child was denied. However, I cannot fill the special education teacher's caseload to capacity. By law, I'm not allowed to turn away all of a program. So that is why you will see non-residents who have disabilities or who are in, say, gifted programming. You will see individuals, or you won't see individuals, you'll see numbers that do reflect that, because that would be against board policy and also against our state regulation not to do so. That would be discrimination, and that's not a practice that we would follow. What I do is I reach out to the special education director every so often just to see if that changes. As we get closer, that might be every other day, that might be once a week. But we're not going to overwhelm our special education staff, max out their capacity by enrolling other students. We do have at least 1 grade level that we are currently 4 kids over. And so we are waiting and going through. If that doesn't change by Friday of this week, we're going to start going through and following up with some of those families to see if they are living in Newport and if they are going to be coming back. So we are expecting around 400 home visits next week, just to go through some questionable residencies and things like that. But it might change from 8 o'clock in the morning as compared to 8 o'clock the next morning. But that's something that's done daily, and it's usually done around the middle of the morning. So we're just keeping an eye on that. High school's a little bit more difficult. So what we did with high school was we took the SPDM allocation that the board approved. Say, for example, in the 9th grade, you have a capacity of 110. We are below that in each of the grades. So that's how we're determining for high school level so that we don't overwhelm that system. So high school is a little bit different.
Thank you. We have a work session in August, so if you can give us an update on how enrollment is going in the classroom side, because we want to keep an eye on that as a board. We want to keep track of that, and we, as you said, we want to service our Newport kids first before. And I know in the past you have shared with the board what the criteria is for non-resident students. So now that we have new board members, if you could bring that information to our work session, just to update the board on the criteria. I think, last year you actually gave us a sheet.
Yes.
An outline, so if you could bring that at the next work session, that would be great, just so this board can be, and those that were not here.
Absolutely. I will also tell you as an aside, Mr. Adams helped me back in the spring. We're waiting for, really there's a lot within technology that needs to be done in the next 2 weeks. At that time, the enrollment, non-residency, and daily attendance will actually be live on our website, so it will be something that you can go to and get that instant update, so you'll know what those numbers are. That's just a matter of taking what we do within our department and making it visible. So that will be a link, and Mr. Adams, again, was very helpful in figuring out what that data dashboard would look like. But that'll be open to anyone who goes to our website as well.
All right, thank you so much.
I have one question, Jennifer. Ms. Stewart,
Yes.
is the enrollment open right now for the student parents to enroll their children? And we walk-in enrollments?
Well, I will tell you this, so all enrollments are online. However, if you do not have access to a computer, or if maybe you're not tech savvy, or maybe you're using a mobile device and need a computer, you have a couple of different options. You can call the school, so the schools do have office staff that are able to do that. If that's not working, or if you're not able to get a hold of someone, then anyone can come here to the central office, and that is something we're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 3:30, and that's something that we can help. Usually in that case, especially if we have someone, again, who doesn't have technology or who isn't necessarily fluent, but has a lot of different questions, their best bet is just to come on in here to the Welcome Center. They don't have to call ahead. We appreciate it if they do, but that's not required. They can come in and we'll help them.
Thank you.
Any questions? All right, thank you so much for the updates. Next on the agenda is old business. On safe school, school-based health center, and transportation.
I had submitted a report. Do you guys have any questions?
Any questions?
It was very informative. Thank you.
Just so you guys already have the answers of what we talked about.
Yes. Everyone was satisfied with the update that was provided.
Yeah.
Thank you, Julie. You did a really good job at the last meeting. Appreciate this meeting. Again, this information is available on our website for those who are, watching live and are in the audience. Right. New business, we have quite a bit. The personnel report is there for us to approve. It is a very active report.
So the gifted person that was hired, are they like district-wide?
Yes.
Okay. And so they'll be doing testing, things like that.
So those who are kindergarten, 12th grade, yes, so those will be assessments almost. Along with the teachers will help by
Right.
students, no big process.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions regarding the personnel report?
No, ma'am.
The unaudited annual financial report. And from what I understand, the auditor will be in the district, I believe, next month to start our annual audit report. For those in the audience, our auditor is one of the approved auditor vendors by the Kentucky Department of Education. So they'll start the audit this year. And so we did turn in we're approving the unaudited annual financial report, which has been reported to ADE. And once the auditor finishes the audit, he'll submit a final annual report to ADE. Any questions regarding that report? I also on the consent agenda item is authorizing the following district personnel for the ARC chairperson, which is during the admission and release committee meetings for the 25-26 school year. The recommended representatives are the superintendent, the director of special ed, the principal and assistant principal, school counselor, the education dietitian, the instructional coach at the Newport primary school. So these are your recommendations, Ms. Seaman?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions regarding how this all works? Anyone? Any information on the ARC process? All right. And then also we have the data breach and security best practice guide has been reviewed and continues to implement security best practices to protect the data of our personnel. And then the second reading of the KSBA policy update information. Any questions regarding that policy update? These policy updates that we do are based on the changes in our district as well as the changes that happen with KRS. So our policy aligned with KRS, so when they make changes to the law, we're required to align our policies with that. And then when the board makes changes to our policy, they need to be updated. We made some changes to our expense reimbursement, graduation requirements. Fun reading, and then we have our code of conduct.
So I will point out one of the biggest concerns within the code of conduct, obviously we had several additions because of state legislation, including areas such as sexual extortion, moral instruction, the change in graduation requirements. My biggest concern, and I really wanted to hear from the board, was on the cell phone policy. And that's because we have had former board members specifically state, their preference while on the board and really just getting your feel for it. So Mr. Atkins led us in a meeting regarding this, just getting a wide variety of input from each of the different levels. One of my biggest concerns is we do have students using cell phones, especially on tank buses and things like that in the past or in the cafeteria. Anytime there was a fight, we saw an increase in cell phones coming out. At the same time, I know that there are districts that are saying, hey, we're going to take this cell phone up, it's ours for the year, and I will be honest and tell you that is not something that I would be in agreement with, simply because parents are buying these phones. They are the property of the parent. Many of them are making payments on those. That is their primary way of getting hold of their children. A lot of kids walk. A lot of kids have after-school activities, and parents really expect their child to be able to have that phone and to call them if they need them. So that, given that, That would be my piece to say if someone wanted to make the code of conduct, more strict. And just keep in mind, that speaking with parents over time, parents that their children have had their cell phones taken up. Just really just communicating with those families. But again, I would not, within the city of Newport, within Newport Independent Schools, want to take a cell phone and say, oh, I'm going to keep it a week, I'm going to keep it a month, I'm going to keep it a year. I do know that there are districts doing that. I don't know that that would be appropriate in our context because, again, our families are paying for those, they're their device. We can limit the student's use of that device during the school day.
Isn't that what we're currently doing?
It is. So originally, last year, the team had taken up 7th and 8th grade cell phones, and that was their plan to continue doing 7th, 8th, and 9th this year, simply because the number of office referrals, it was cut by well over 1,000. Cell phone is probably one of our top 5 issues. I would say the top 3. And it leads to more in-depth issues. At the same time, we want kids to be able to communicate with their families. We want them to be able to have an emergency response system. So with the way it is now, the schools can make their handbooks more stringent, but this would allow a student to have it on their person. And again, when we look at 7th, 8th, and 9th, again, just continuing in that process, those would be taken up and locked up. We'd also talked about potentially at the intermediate school locked carts, just making sure that someone's device isn't stolen. But again, that's within their handbook. But the way we have it written in the code of conduct is that they have to be powered off. They need to be put in silent mode, if not to have them out during the school day. And most of our kids, if we start off with a low-level cell phone mobile device issue, and this does include smartwatches, and that's what's in the state legislation. For some of our kids, it ends there, they don't do it again. For other kids, that one cell phone will turn into a much larger issue. So, having information on their phone they shouldn't have, having videoed something that they should not have videoed, having access to information that they should not have.
I agree that students should not be having their cell phones out during school, that's not appropriate. But at the same time, I want to be able to get up for my kids. So, if they're after school, if they're walking home, whatever they're doing, I want to be able to get hold of them if need be. But again, it shouldn't be out during the school day.
Now, that leads to the question, then, because the way this is written is that they're in instructional time. And so there are several different KSBA policies that you can look at. One of them that a district is using actually came out and said instructional day. So when the kids came into school, the device was being powered off and put on airplane mode. They could get it out again at the end of the day when school is over. And that's not the way that the policy that you're reading is. It says instructional time. So now we can clarify instructional time within the instructional day, but that does take board action to do that. Yes.
Because instructional time would not include lunchtime, not include
Correct.
walking down.
Honestly, the only instructional time in DPP world is the 25 minutes of lunch within our standard day. When we look at it, and it's a little bit different depending on the type of school, but let's say the high school, for example, they have 4-minute pastimes in between, and students would be able to have their phone in.
Saturday. Yeah, to me, that even those 4 minutes,
We just,
that 4 minutes carries over to the classroom.
so our conversation has been, we wanted to present it to the board, get the board's, what you all would like to see, and we can do an immediate update to that to show whether it's instructional time or instructional day. I am concerned about lunch, and I am concerned about the hallways because those unstructured times, they're always monitored, but those unstructured times are usually when we see an increase in physical activity or an increase in having cell phones out and video.
Well, based on my conversation with other workers we've been some institute, they are collecting the phones at the beginning of the school day, and they are returned to them at the end of the school day. And I believe a lot of schools in Cincinnati public, so a lot of schools are making it today, because it's a distraction to learning. And so I'd be in favor of making it the instructional day versus instructional time. And the children, and using language in case of an emergency. Because the school has landlines, parents are able to call the school to get in touch with their child if there's an emergency. And that's what we did in the day before cell phones.
And I'll be honest, and I always tell teachers this too, teachers have a cell phone, and I always tell them, when you have a family emergency, I promise you, you want that call to come into the office. You don't want to be looking at a classroom full of kids and find out that you had a tragedy or something like that going on. That is one of the worst situations you can be in when you have to, be in charge of a class. And honestly, if you're in charge of your class and actively supervising what's going on in your classroom, you shouldn't be on a cell phone. Save the kids. So what that would require then is on that policy, you can either clarify there, I would again direct that to the board attorney. We can clarify just instructional day. And I'll update it.
I don't think we should mandate that we have to.
There is a financial piece to that, because we would have to buy, especially for the high school, they have very nice boxes. The way it was done was very nicely done. Yes, but there would be a financial piece to that, taking them up. We have already discussed a lot of people use like the shoe racks or cell phone holders, and that's simply if each device, and I'll just throw this out here, if each one of those was an iPhone and they each cost $1,000, you have 24 kids in your class. We can't guarantee that somebody's not going to grab one of those and go. It happens. Things like that do happen. That's why we did like the boxes. And we also have the locked carts, because the carts already identify once it's locked, once it's unlocked, they can't get into it. Each kid would have their own area for theirs to go into, same as their device. So we already have something like that in place. If you wanted to take them up, and if we were to lock them up, there would be a financial piece to that. Just to purchase those boxes to be able to hold those devices safe.
So right now, each classroom they go into, the phone is put into some type of.
At the beginning of the day, in their first class, the kids are actually putting their devices in, they're being locked, all the staff or administrator was going and getting those. They were taking them to the assistant principal's office, for example, at the high school, putting them in, so they were in a locked room, in a locked cabinet, in a locked box, all day.
That was not for 9 through 12.
Right.
They have 9 through 12 grade students have it on their person, in their locker, what have you.
It was a pilot, and they knew what the behavioral data looked like for 7th and 8th grade, so they decided to tackle that problem last year and to keep that as a pilot for that year, and it was effective. Ultimately, it's to increase engagement.
So the pilot only affected what grades?
7th and 8th.
Okay, so was any data done on the 9 through 12 who kept their phones, and how it was impacting student achievement and behavior and disruption of classroom?
And I don't have it here in front of me, but if you go back and look at the last board report that had behavioral data in it, you will see a comparison there from the prior year. And then we also have like a 3-year and a 5-year data trend, but you will see that piece of data is in there. Now, we didn't specifically call out, it's under use of mobile device, use of technology, because we were looking at all of our behavior trends as a district, but that information is in there as well.
So as well, you're looking for our recommendation, but you all are the ones that have the operation. You know what's working, what's not working. So we need to hear your recommendation as what works best in the high school from 9 to 12 and what works best for the 7th and 8th grade. That gives us some type of insight as to what is the best decision, because our goal is to work with you all and to also not create hardship on the family as well.
What if you just wrote a policy, they keep it in the locker? Because, and I get there's gonna be kids sneaking in, just like I used to try to sneak chewing gum. Chewing gum, so, but, I mean, I was at school when you weren't allowed to chew gum. And I literally said, at that point, we don't take on responsibility, instead of keeping that up, we basically say, when you come to school, they're told to put it in their locker.
And they would have access to it.
And during the time during the locker. And then what we can do is develop a strict policy, that basically says you'll lose the privilege to bring your phone to your locker in the event that you try to sneak one in. Because then the parent really can't complain. It's like, yeah, you can't contact the kid because your kid violated the rules. So then the parents should want to tell the kid that it's not the rules. Use a locker for that, and it avoids us paying the cost and the responsibility of $1,000 items. So it took it, and from the manpower, the fact that they put it in the room, somebody kind of retrieve the phones, we might as well be throwing luggage.
So my recommendation would be that it be for the instructional day that the child is putting that in airplane mode or powering the device down. I have no issue with it being on their person. And some kids don't necessarily use a locker or a lock. And that way they have it. And then we implement what the policy says as far as discipline for that. So we'll just say, we'll say instructional day.
9 to 12, they're allowed to have their phones on. Policy, and that's the key. The consistency throughout the school, each, the consistency in how these matters are handled, so, this teacher, there's no consequences. This classroom, there are consequences. So I think the key here is consistency throughout the school, 9 through 12, that the rules are, the consequences are enforced. Because if my behavior doesn't cost me anything, I'm more than likely not going to change my behavior. So if they want the privilege of having a phone on their persons, then they have to take the responsibility that comes with having a phone on their person. And that is the message that I think the board is going. Are you okay with that? What a recommendation is they have on their persons?
I think it should go for 7th and 8th too.
It would be for all. And that is currently what our recommendation is. Our biggest question was instructional day or instructional time.
And I would totally agree with that, because they should not have it out during an instructional day. But, taking somebody's phone, that might be the thing that makes them feel safe. So, the idea of taking it from them, I think only opens a can of worms. As long as they keep it in the purse, the backpack, away, whatever, then I think that's fine. It's when they violate those rules that we have to be consistent with the punishments.
Yes. And we wanted to make sure that you all had that conversation, that opportunity, because we will have students who will have issues. With cell phone use, we will have to take them. Parents will have to come and get them. And you will probably get some phone calls. So we wanted to make sure that you could explore that option.
Yeah, that's say in the policy, if we're going to allow them to have it on, if it's seen out, and they get a warning. So many warnings, after so many warnings, 1, 2, 3, whatever you decide on, they can't have them there anymore, or they have to turn them in when they get there.
And that's how it is.
So there is a warning.
There is.
So offense one would be a warning, you're asked to put it away. Offense 2 and 3, the phone would be put in an administrator or a counselor or the front office in a locked drawer. For that day, the student would be able to pick that up after offense 2 and 3. Offense 4 and beyond, in the policy that we have written right now to get approved, it says that the parent would come and pick the phone up. And then it reads on down the bottom, if it becomes a problem over and over and over, that the phone can be asked to be turned in at the start of the day. So just for an example, if Mr. Davis has been asked to put his phone away 6 times, I'm gonna have a meeting with Mr. Davis and say, when you show up in the morning, here's your options. You can put the phone in a locked area in my office, in Mr. Wilson's office, in the front office, or counselor's office. That's your option. You've had enough chances. The phone is keeping you from being the best that you can be, and it's gonna be put in. Now, the burner phones and all that stuff's gonna come into play. We're trying to think of ways to make sure that it's not a burner phone.
And then we also have that after so many violations, it's just a loss of privilege to bring that on to school grounds. And for our students who are involved with the DPP office, if they're with a court designated worker or within their pre-adjudicated orders, we do have a graduated system to where students who have that continuous issue and are involved with courts, one of the graduated sanctions is that they actually take all electrical devices.
Happens to know that the person that imposes that punishment loves to take phones away.
You will see a student go from being habitually truant to consistently on time. You will see a student who is a constant disruption according to law, be able to come to school and follow all school rules, because it's not just the laws of cell phone or smartwatch. It can also be the laws of a gaming system. It can be the laws, PlayStation, VR headset. So we're getting great support there as well, but those students are able to really turn it around and address the issues that they've had.
So the use of, exclude special area and include special area and bathroom time too?
It would include all of this. So that change would just be from instructional time to instructional day.
Your principal's always one of those, let's say somebody's grandmother was deathly ill or something, I mean, you still have some discretion.
Yeah, and they know these students, and the families for the most part. I'm just looking at the actual policy.
See, if there hasn't been incidences, it's what I don't like this. Your cell phone out and read. If there's some kind of issues going on, maybe getting a phone call. So let we put it in policy or just like it. They're told there is some important thing, possible emergency, somebody's in the hospital and they need to know, and they can let the teacher know. If I get a phone call, this is why. I know some will abuse that.
So our recommendation on that policy is 09.4261 telecommunication devices. So with that,
If it's page 49.
so this does say, it is in red, it's in that second paragraph, students are prohibited from using a personal telecommunication device during instructional time. We'll change time to day. That update will be made in the code of conduct. There is a second requested change in that policy. Again, Mr. Atkins led us in a meeting. We looked at, on number 1B, access to social media unless authorized to do so by. we would request that be by an administrator. We could find no educational purpose for a teacher to request a student to pull social media
What
up.
section are you referring to?
Number one, B,
B or B?
B is in boy.
B, okay.
Which is violates confidentiality.
Yes.
No, right above it. That's C.
No, ours is B.
Oh, okay.
B is violates confidentiality or privacy rights of another individual, which is B on our attachment.
So we were requesting that social media, again, we see, it may have already been deleted from yours. My recommendation was that there would be no reason for a teacher to request that. First and foremost, you have another board policy that says that all videos, information like that will be reviewed prior to students viewing it. So if someone brings up something on social media, it may be there, it may go away and something else pop up that would be inappropriate for students to see. You have to view all things first, as well as there are times when students will bring forth information that will begin an investigation. That should not be within a teacher's classroom. That should be on up to a school counselor, school resource officer, or school administrator. So basically what we're saying is we will not be using social media as part of our teaching curriculum.
I do think it needs to be made clear what instructional day means. Means all instruction.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that you may want to add a little bit parentheses.
While on school property or while attending school sponsored or school-related activities, whether on or off school property, they did, yes.
Does that apply to like football practice?
Your football practice, I'm not a football coach, but I would say you do not use your cell phone out when you, if you plan to return home with it. And there are times, let's say the football practice, it also says in here, if directed to do so by a teacher, so that if the child needs to use their cell phone, that's a conversation between the supervising adult and the child.
Brandon, do we have to approve that change to the language that we never have?
I think you can find just prove it as written, that it's, yeah, and then whatever changes were referenced. When you got the red, then I think, Shane, you had a couple changes you want,
Yes.
and just approval with, as presented, as well as the changes from Ms. Stewart.
And it is made that way on the form that I submitted.
I do have a quick question, and it may be considered menial, but, I noticed when you have your, like, suicide prevention hotline numbers and those types of things, the crisis text line, the youth line, and the LGBTQ line were all lined through. Is there a reason for that?
There was, we had a couple that numbers have changed. And
Okay,
then, for the others, we were not sure whether we needed to include those or not, so we went back to the required items. That can, so what we have is what Kentucky regulation says we must have.
okay,
And then we went back also, there's a regulation and a board policy on student badges. If we have student badges, the numbers that must appear there, and those are the numbers that must appear.
okay.
Page
Page 15.
Any more questions regarding the code of conduct?
I mean,
One good thing is with the new law about 15, where they have to get compliance from their schools now, in order to get that.
I think that's the other thing.
Yeah.
I think the change is that it's now for 15-year-olds.
Yeah, I thought you can get the town for a year. You if you go to a school and get. That's an extra incentive to not be flunking it.
Yeah, and actually, a lot of insurance companies give you discounts. If your child is an honorable student, you get discounts. Status, they said that's a responsible person, so discounts on my books for driving issues on honorable students. A lot of insurance companies, so that's a bonus for parents to motivate their children when they start driving. Yeah, the students, I get you points.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Question, page 13, reports the nurse and the non-prescription medications. They're allowed to have their own non-prescription medications. Page 13.
So all of the information on expectations related to medication, all of those come directly from the board policy. That is the copy and paste straight from the board policy. And the board policy was recommended by KSBA and follows the new state regulations we have related to student medications. Which was the one in particular you had a question?
Under self-administration. Students, self-administration is allowed in certain situations. Authorization. If we're going to do that, we'll just kind of figure out how we monitor that. Sure that what they have isn't something other than Advil or Tylenol.
Right, so they're still bringing in, even with the self-medication with this policy, they're still bringing in that prescription label, that medical order, or school-based health center can provide that. If for some reason even the dosage has to change, we can't do that with just a note, it has to have a new label, and all of that is updated. All of that information actually goes into our Infinite Campus system, which is the Kentucky Student Information System, and that is specifically in the health tab. The only individuals that have access to that are system administrators, which is Ms. Cave, myself, and Mr. Atkins, and all of our school nurses and medical staff are the ones who input that information. So as soon as a medical order comes in, that information is coded.
But they still have to get that from the nurse.
Yes.
The non-prescription. And I was reading.
Yes.
Period on their person and take it when they want it, so I just read it. I just wanted to make sure that was the case.
If they were to have it on their person, it would go into a offense, probably code of conduct for having something that's not appropriate.
And those students that have those life-saving medications, they have an individual health care plan. Many of those are actually served under what's known as the Section 504 plan, not all, but then that is the meeting between that healthcare provider, the parent, potentially the student, depending on their age, and any educator that they would come into contact with. But that is a written healthcare plan. That's a special meeting that we hold to make sure everyone knows that child's healthcare plan.
Next is the MOU, the memo of understanding with Partners for Change. And she's actually here tonight.
Got a question again.
Do I have any questions regarding this?
It's essentially an extension of the agreement that we've had for years. The reason we didn't deal with it the last meeting, we found out that what we did, a piece about mentoring in there that we weren't clear on, so we wanted to remove it, take a step back, see exactly what we're getting into, and then just, so we ended up taking it out, going forward with what we have had the past few years, and then we'll mentoring maybe next year.
How long has this program been running?
Stacey Drobbins here, she's the executive director of Government Partners, Not Partners for Change. This agreement predates my involvement, so we're looking at this 2, 3, however many years.
And the reason I'm asking that because, we have new board members, so a lot of the information that's been around a while, it's new to them.
Sure.
So I just want to get a little background on the program, anyone here can speak to their experience with it. Stacy's here, I'd love if you would like for her to maybe just share with the board some of the things that you all do, or if you
So
want to-
essentially, I'm Zach, in charge of valuable time after school programming. Our 3 buildings, our program in each building is funded by the 21st Century Grant. That only gets us so far, not even very far. What Partners for Change offers is supplemental money to carry us forward to do some enrichment activities, help fund our summer program activities, things like that. So it just fills in the gaps and allows us to do more. So each school gets $95,000 or $100,000 from the federal government, and then Partners for Change throws in the other 32 per schools, and then on the primary and intermediate, and then $10K for the high school.
Any questions? Thank you, Ms. Tilden. Our 21st Century program does a lot of work. We're very fortunate to have some dedicated and committed people to these after-school programs and activities for our students. Since you've been here, Mr. Director, you had quite a few exciting school programs. I know the outdoor program is very successful, and I don't know this summer, correct?
Yeah, we had, off the top of my head, let's see, across all 3 buildings, we had 90 kids maybe for the summer. Did some good stuff. Ms. New from the intermediate took a group of kids to NKU last week.
Yes.
Had a great experience there through educating KY. And we've got 3 full-time staff in each building. So we're just looking forward to a really great year. A lot of stuff that we're going to do, make a lot of progress. So just excited.
Very good, thank you. And I know Partners for Change is also working on some parent engagement and family opportunities to increase those opportunities, to support our parents that want to be engaged and involved. So those conversations are happening too. So
Yes.
a lot of great things are happening through our partners, and we're grateful and thankful for you. Would you stand and introduce yourself for?
Sure. Good evening, I'm Stacey Stroutman, I'm the CEO for Partners for Change, and we're excited about this partnership. As Zach mentioned, it's been allowing us to just supplement some of the funding. We've used the 21st Century Grant as leverage, which, there's some conversations about those not being in the next federal budget, so we're keeping an eye on that, which means in the absence of those being federally funded, we're going to need a community to provide that support so we can keep this program flowing. And in addition to that funding, we are also working with the coordinators to really look at student data and outcome measurements for those after-school time programs so that we can individualize the support that a student gets in their school and summer programs so that it does increase their achievement in reading and math. And so we just recently hired an out-of-school time director who's going to be working with your new coordinators here in Newport as well as our other partner districts. We're excited about that cohesion across multiple districts, particularly as students transfer from school to school, they'll have that continuity, but also just to provide that additional support that potentially could help students and families here.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Okay, next we have the stipend for the Newport High School assistant principal and the stipend for the primary principal. Any questions regarding those recommendations? Did you all get your answers correct? On those?
The numbers that are on the.
Yes. And that's spoke with Kim Snap and Mr. Atkins, and they were with the budget, they are a budget. And for those, Newport High School assistant principal has taken on the role of 2 assistant principals. So it was recommended to the board that we increase that we give the assistant principal stipend for the extra duties and responsibilities that they are now having, because now we went from 2 to 1 position. So they're supporting the middle school as well as the high school. And then the principal is now taking on additional responsibilities. This Hayden, who is the interim principal at Newport Primary. All right, and then now we have surplus. 2 bookshelves, some cafeteria tables. I think this is all furniture that is not started. School-based health center and office here. So, any questions regarding the surplus? And then, last month we surplus computers, and so the conversation in the community is that we were throwing away the computers. So this is our show and tell. These are the computers. They are no longer useful. They're from 2006. So, they're 19 years old. The programs that we're using here are not even available anymore. I think it's Windows XP. I think we're 5 Windows from Windows XP. So, wanted you all to know. So, when people in the community approach you about us throwing away good computers, you can say that we do work with computers that are not used to anymore. Right. It's a good door stopper. But it's always good to clarify and to, because the only way to disperse rumors is with the proper information. And I think we have a duty to do that. And thank you for bringing those for us. Yes.
I think they're being recycled. So they're coming, picking them up and paying us for them a little bit.
Right, when we get enough, we will contact the recycling so that they're safe.
Yes, we did tell you to recycle.
Yeah, because we're lucky that we don't have to pay to have those recycled.
Rusty, what happens with computers? I mean, you run out of the ability, the software that they have installed no longer runs different programs. So they really do become.
Right, that's almost 20-year-old laptop that came out of the depths of some closet during that renovation at the high school. So what happens, that they're not secure anymore, so nothing will run on them. That's a laptop. I guarantee that battery is there in the doornail. It's in there. It won't, as soon as you unplug it, if we even know where the plug is for it. So basically, we need to make sure that by e-recycling the hard drives, they send a certificate, they have destroyed the hard drive so that there's no personal student data or secure data out there for somebody to potentially obtain. And then they also, it's environmentally friendly, they send the circuit boards wherever they send them to extract the valuable metals.
Okay, next is the Kentucky Community Technical College System, KCTCS. The requirements, the communication systems that are currently being utilized. It's a nice lab here.
Starfish is the way to stay on top of students who may be struggling, and that's the way to monitor those students and outreach to those students to kind of help them along and get them up to speed.
I did reach out and get a name of somebody. We need to get the trace of communication. We have to get
Now, are we gonna have one of these for UKU as well?
I'm not receiving it.
I mean, just thinking about the statute. We need to get that from them too.
We have kids attending AKU right now.
Yes, our young scholar academy is with.
I'll reach out.
And I guess going forward, we need to be mindful of this, if we build, part of any other colleges. Now, what about vocation programs, like if they should go to trade school, vocational program, and I talked about increasing that. We need to have this.
Anybody with their skills.
It will go through the take from anybody who wants to do that, so.
Right now, this is covered.
Okay.
If we reach out to another career institution, get this.
Very good. And who does this fall under? Who's responsible for making sure that this, the high school or central office would be responsible for making sure we get this information? Okay, like AKU, that does this fall under your responsibility or does it fall under someone else?
For purposes of reaching out to NKU, I'll reach out to them and ask for what platforms they're going to use for them. If they are different than these, and I can bring that.
Okay.
I'll hopefully be able to reach out.
Alrighty. Next, we have our read ready resolution. All right, read ready, I don't know if you all heard about it, but read ready Newport is an initiative that was brought to us through Mary Kay Conley. It is an initiative that has been in Covington, and it is a education enrichment program that is actually throughout the community. And so it's community partners, based, where they have active learning opportunities. So, for example, a family could be sitting in the park and there could be a QR code and they could scan it and some type of educational activity is on there. So it could be games, it could be reading, it could be science. Ours is newly developed, but if you want to know more about it, I would do the Read Ready Covington. I think they've been doing it for few years, and it's been very successful, and the data supports the impact that it has on student achievement. And so it was recommended that Newport take the same initiative. The city of Newport agreed. Educate NKY is funding it, so it's not coming out of our pocket for the city. Educate NKY is funding this initiative. And so the city approved their resolution as support of this program and their commitment to this program. And they have asked me for Board of Education to do the same. And we have reviewed it. A lot of the things in the resolution we're already doing. For example, it says, now, therefore, be it resolved that we were in the school board of education hereby endorses the goals and mission of Read Ready Newport and commits to following actions in partnership with the city of Newport. Align kindergarten readiness goals. The district will align its early childhood and family engagement strategies with Read Ready Newport shared goals to improve school readiness outcomes across the city. Share data and resources. Leverage educator expertise. And as I shared with Ms. Hayden and Ms. Atkins, we already work with a lot of the community partners when it comes to aligning our goals and kindergarten readiness goals. I'm sure Ms. Stewart can speak to that as well, because her and I have had this conversation many times over the years. So I know that our school system is in communication with the different daycares, Bright Days, preschool, Head Start. So we already have those relationships with those community think this is an effort to get us to have more collaboration. I've been part of some of these meetings, Bright Days, Hippie, St. Elizabeth, so there are a lot of community partners that are involved in this initiative, and like this, the first says, whereas the Board of Education, recognizes that early learning beginning with prenatal care is foundational to long-term student success and community prosperity. Research shows that children who enter kindergarten ready to learn are more likely to achieve reading proficiency by third grade, meet or exceed grade level proficiency throughout school, and graduate from high school prepared for post-secondary education and success in the workforce and life. So these are the, this is the language of the resolution. It also talks about the Dollar Department of Education Library Partnership, which we already have, and with local partnerships with local child care providers, libraries, nonprofits, already serve the young children in Newport that have not yet reached every child there for, have not reached their full potential for connection and collective impact. And that's what I was sharing with you, Ms. Hayden. You know, it's an initiative to improve what has already been done and reach more families through this collaboration. So that's the goal, is that, you know, these partners who have been working hard for years in the Newport community, they will now come together and collaborating to reach more families. Because this group serves prenatal to 2 years old, this group is served 3 to 5. And so, and then St. Elizabeth does what they call ASQ assessment. And so they would like to be able to reach more Newport kids to assess, you know, their learning style, how they learn, if they have any learning disabilities, you know, get it all. And so that's one of the goals here. So any more questions regarding this resolution?
This could kind of be a precursor to where the state is working on a pre-K bill.
Yes, universal.
Graders.
Yes.
Or, I'm sorry, 4-year-olds.
Yes. Yes. It's universal preschool for all. Yes. We will be in the town hall meeting. So it is, you know, putting us right there. All right. So any more comments or questions regarding consent agenda items 1 through 12? If not, I need a motion. So moved in second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposers? All right, next board comments. We do have our regional meeting set for September the 2nd. If you have not already alerted him, please let her know the deadline is August 22nd. I believe I responded. All right, just a reminder. Okay, and any more comments?
Say the last thanks, hit the ground running, doing a great job. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I would say, you know, as far as the read ready, program goes to, you know, our children belong to our city, not just to the schools. And I wanted to thank all the city commissioners, the mayor, city manager, for standing up and saying, yes, we agree that this is our responsibility. We need to change. This is not just on the school, this is on all of us. Our children belong to each and every one of us. This is and so I just want to thank the city for recognizing that they do play a role in the education of our children, and that it's the responsibility that all of us need to have, not just the school board, not just the teachers, but all of us, everyone who lives in the city. These children belong to us, and it's our responsibility to take care of them. I want to say thank you to the city for that, and I also want to say thank you to everyone who's in this room. You came here, a lot of you are in new positions, you're facing new challenges. This is some of us on the board, and you here, we're very new to you. But we support you, and we appreciate you doing this. You guys are in roles that you're not accustomed. more responsibility than you've ever had. And a lot of changes that happen since the end of the last school year, a lot of changes are in the process. But each and every one of you, thank you for the team. We're going to get through this together. It's not going to be easy for any of us, but we're all up. And I know that you guys are too. We trust you. We believe in you. And to our students, we believe in you too. And it's your responsibility to make a good school. It's the students' responsibility as well. And as our students get older, we're talking about these things like that. We all have more responsibility. And the schools not only belong to the school board, and to the teachers, to the principals, and to the superintendent, but belong to the students. And that's our students' responsibility as well. To do their part to make our schools everything that they need. We're all in this together, you guys. Thank you.
So it is so hard following him.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you to everybody who stepped up and those of you who have been here, serving our students all along, whether you're in a new role or you're just continuing to do the fight. We really appreciate everything you guys do. You're doing a great job, and looking forward to. I see you poking out over there.
I just want to look at you while you're talking.
Anyway, I just want to thank you all. Congratulations to everybody who's in the role, and let's get to work.
All right, thank you. Ditto. I do appreciate you all. We're looking forward to another great school year. Happy to be a part of Newport. It is a unique city, unique school system. We have some great people in our district, and I'm just proud to serve. So thank you. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good fight. It takes a village to be part of the village. And I believe in our staff. I believe in our kids and our family. Because I do believe our families want their kids to be successful. And sometimes they can do math and how to get there. And so hopefully this year, with all the initiatives and partners we can do, support our families and help our parents support our teachers and get our parents to see that this is a partnership. We need them to partner with us as we educate their children. So that's the word of the year, partnership. Our parents and our families are our partners in this endeavor, and the collaboration is needed among all of us to have a successful school year and create the next leaders of this world. All right, thank you.
Well said.
I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Move to second, all in favor? Good night, Randy.